By 1885, Mother Pierre Saint-Coin was the congregational leader. In 1889, the Missouri Railroad Company was extending its line through Fort Worth. The railroad system was known for building facilities to support the needs of its workers, usually because they were coming in with limbs cut off and injuries that were very, very severe due to the hazardous working conditions. The Missouri Railroad Company reached out to Mother Pierre to support the needs of the workers. They promised to build a state-of-the-art hospital in Fort Worth and pay the sisters a salary. Now, up until that time, the sisters would schedule themselves throughout the day to go on fundraising trips. That is how they financed the charity hospital in Galveston. That was the model they still use to finance the hospital in San Antonio. They would go out on begging trips and say, "We need money. Will you give?" For a for-profit organization to say, "We'll pay you a salary," was quite a new thing for them. The Missouri Railroad Company sent a letter to Mother Pierre promising to pay every sister nurse $15 a month, which was a very, very high salary in the 1800s. They would also pay the administrator $20 a month. That did not sway Sister Pierre. She was not quite sure if this was where God was calling the congregation. So they upped the ante, promising, "In addition to your salary, we will pay for all the operational needs of the organization." That was still not enough for Sister Pierre to determine that this was where she wanted to go. Finally, the bishop became involved, saying, "Look, this is what God is calling you to do. You come to Fort Worth." Mother Pierre still said no. Finally, the mayor, the bishop, and the Missouri Railroad Company asked her to come out to Fort Worth to show her what a beautiful place they had selected for the hospital. Mother Pierre went to Fort Worth. She looked at the state-of-the-art hospital and she reviewed the plan. She was still going to refuse them, but she happened to look outside the window where they were standing and saw the men working on the railroad line. She later said, "It was an awareness that the men laying tracks and operating the locomotives were mostly the poor, the immigrant worker, separated from their homes and their families. They were unskilled, working under extremely hazardous conditions that caused serious injuries and fatalities. They were working to try to get a start in a new land." And at the end of the day, it was not the salary and all the support the railroad company offered. It was the working people outside of the hospital that finally made her decide to send the sisters to Fort Worth and establish what became St. Joseph Hospital. Mother Pierre was a courageous and determined woman. Her call to servant leadership caused her to stand face to face with the mayor of Fort Worth and tell him that she would be willing to go to jail to serve people in need. When St. Joseph Hospital was opened, she intended to serve everyone. Unfortunately, Fort Worth was a segregated town. The railroad hospital operated under the same rules. Even though it was meant to serve the workers, it was a segregated hospital, and in that time it was illegal to serve people of color in a segregated hospital. Mother Pierre asked, "Where am I going to send them?" There were no hospitals for people of color to go. So she was strategic and creative. They had built for her a new laundry facility, and to get around the law, she converted the laundry facility into a wing that served the needs of people of color. The mayor comes to her and says, "Mother Pierre, you are breaking the law, and I can put you in jail." Mother Pierre replied, "Well then, arrest me and put me in jail. There is no other option. I would rather spend the rest of my life behind bars than have to face these brothers and sisters in eternity knowing that I had turned them away while we were here on earth. We will serve them." Now, we are not certain of the details of what she was able to work out, but we do know that she continued to treat people of all colors and backgrounds for as long as St. Joseph Hospital was open in Fort Worth.